Why do they beg for closure, but fear your silence? Because closure comforts the guilty, and silence destroys them. When you stay to explain, to give answers, to make them understand, you give them control. You give them your energy, your emotion, your attention, and they walk away clean, believing they mattered enough to earn your final words. But when you go silent, you take that power back. The dark Stoic understands this. He knows that silence is not weakness, it's sovereignty. It says, I owe you nothing, not my words, not my pain, not my goodbye. Your silence becomes the verdict they never expected, the one punishment they can't escape or erase. Dark psychology explains why it cuts so deep. The mind can dismiss closure, but it can't silence uncertainty. When you disappear without answers, their thoughts become the punishment. They replay every word, every moment, every mistake, searching for reasons they will never get. And the silence you left becomes the loudest voice in their world. Closure ends the story for them. Silence keeps it echoing forever. If you're ready to stop explaining and let your silence speak, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is my closure. Number 1. Closure is a trap. Closure feels like peace, but it's a snare. It convinces you that you need their understanding to heal, that you need their apology to move on, that you can't let go until they validate your pain. But that belief chains your peace to their behavior, and the moment you depend on them for closure, you hand them your power. They know this. That's why they leave you chasing answers that will never come. Because the longer you chase closure, the longer they stay in control. They get to watch you beg for the dignity they already chose not to give. The Stoics rejected this illusion. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Closure is an outside event. It's something you can't force, can't control, and don't need. Because the moment you realize this, you become free. Dark psychology calls this the validation trap. The brain craves resolution so desperately that it will accept lies just to feel settled. That's why closure often brings more confusion than peace. It gives you words to cling to instead of silence to grow from. You don't need closure from them. You need distance from them. If you're ready to stop chasing answers and start claiming your peace, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I don't chase closure. I choose peace. Number 2. Silence shifts the power. The moment you go silent, everything changes. The same person who once felt superior now feels small, because your silence doesn't just remove your voice, it removes their control. And nothing shakes a manipulator more than realizing they can no longer move you. When you stop explaining, you stop giving them leverage. When you stop defending yourself, you stop giving them weapons. Silence is not retreat, it's a shift. It signals that you no longer seek their understanding or need their validation. You are no longer playing their game, and without your participation, the game collapses. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Silence is the ultimate reaction. It proves your peace is stronger than their chaos, and your discipline stronger than their drama. That truth shakes them more than your anger ever could. Dark psychology calls this power withdrawal. They fed on your emotional responses to maintain control. The moment you go silent, the supply ends. Their ego starves, their pride fractures, and for the first time, they feel powerless. You don't win by saying more. You win by saying nothing. If you're ready to stop reacting and start reclaiming your power, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence takes back my power. Number 3. The mind hates unfinished stories. When you walk away in silence, you leave their story unfinished, and the mind cannot stand an unfinished story. It will loop it endlessly, picking apart every detail, trying to make sense of what happened, and never finding peace. This is why silence hurts more than closure. Closure gives them an ending. It lets them package the pain, label it, and move on. But silence denies them that comfort. It leaves them stranded in uncertainty, and uncertainty becomes obsession. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Refusing to give closure is choosing truth. They don't deserve your words. Your silence forces them to face the reality they've been avoiding, that their actions ended things, and they will never get to explain them away. Dark psychology calls this the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished emotional experiences torment the brain. Without your words to end the story, their mind replays it again and again. And each replay cuts deeper, turning guilt into regret and regret into longing. Closure ends the story. Silence makes it eternal. If you're ready to let their mind become their punishment, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence will echo forever. Number 4. Closure comforts them. Silence confronts them. Closure lets them walk away feeling clean. It softens the guilt, rewrites the story, and allows them to believe they were never the villain. But silence denies them that comfort. It forces them to sit in the wreckage of what they caused, and know they'll never be forgiven for it. Closure gives them peace. Silence gives them the mirror. And mirrors are merciless. When you stay to explain, they can defend themselves. When you go silent, they can't. There's nothing to argue with, nothing to twist, nothing to soothe their ego. All they're left with are their own actions, echoing in the void you left behind. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Silence weaponizes that truth. Their imagination becomes their punishment. While closure would have soothed their conscience, your silence keeps it bleeding. And every day without your words makes their guilt grow heavier. Dark psychology calls this guilt amplification. Without resolution, guilt festers. It doesn't fade, it expands. Your silence turns their comfort into torment. Closure protects their feelings. Silence makes them face their sins. If you're ready to stop comforting them and start confronting them, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is their mirror. Number 5. Silence protects your energy. Closure drains you. It pulls you back into their chaos, forces you to reopen wounds, and wastes your breath on someone who already decided you weren't worth keeping. But silence? Silence protects you. It shields your energy from being stolen again. When you choose silence, you stop bleeding for people who cut you. You stop explaining your worth to ears that never listened. You stop handing your power to someone who already threw it away. And in that stillness, your strength begins to rebuild. Marcus Aurelius said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." Their reaction to your silence is outside your control, but your choice to go silent is yours completely. It's the first act of reclaiming your peace. Dark psychology calls this emotional energy preservation. Every interaction costs energy, and closure is an emotional debt they will never repay. Silence ends the transaction. It closes the account. It stops the leak and lets your soul start healing. Closure gives your energy away. Silence gives it back to you. If you're ready to stop bleeding for people who broke you, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I protect my peace with silence. Number 6. Detachment destroys their control. Their power over you only existed as long as you were emotionally attached. As long as you still wanted answers, closure, or their approval, they had leverage, but the moment you detach, the entire structure of their control collapses. Detachment isn't pretending you don't care. It's realizing they no longer matter. Marcus Aurelius said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." Detachment is the living embodiment of that truth. You refuse to be wounded by people who no longer exist in your world. And that refusal terrifies them because it shows you're no longer part of their game. Dark psychology calls this the control collapse. Manipulators thrive on emotional hooks: fear, guilt, hope, anger. Detachment severs every hook at once. Your silence becomes proof that they no longer influence you. And nothing breaks them faster than realizing they've lost their grip completely. You don't have to fight for power, you only have to stop giving it away. If you're ready to end their control by ending your attachment, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My detachment is my freedom. Number 7. While they seek answers, you evolve. While they sit trapped in the silence you left, replaying the past, you're using that same silence to build your future. This is what they never expected, that your disappearance wasn't retreat, it was rebirth. They waste their days wondering what went wrong. You spend yours becoming everything they thought you'd never be: stronger, sharper, colder. While they crumble under unanswered questions, you rise fueled by discipline, not desire. And every step you take forward becomes another blade of regret, cutting into their memory of you. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." You've stopped wasting it. No more proving your worth. No more seeking their apology. No more waiting to be understood. While they seek closure, you're building a version of yourself they'll never be allowed to meet. Dark psychology calls this contrast trauma. When they see the man you've become and realize they no longer have access to him, their mind rewrites the past in agony. You didn't just walk away. You evolved beyond them. They're stuck in what was. You're becoming what they'll never reach. If you're ready to turn silence into your transformation, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I evolve in silence. Number 8. Mystery becomes your power. When you go silent, you stop being predictable, and the unknown is magnetic. What they once saw as ordinary becomes mysterious, and what is mysterious becomes irresistible. Before, they knew everything about you. Your routines, your responses, your emotions. That familiarity made them careless. But now you've vanished from their world, and their mind can't stop circling you. Where is he? Has he changed? Does he even think about me anymore? Those questions become their obsession. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be like the rock against which the waves break, unmoved, silent, and still." Mystery carries that same energy. While they flood the world with noise, you've become the stillness they can't read, and that unreadability haunts them. Dark psychology calls this the uncertainty effect. When the mind can't predict something, it becomes consumed by it. Your silence removes their access and forces their imagination to fill the void, and the mind will always create something grander than reality. You don't need to convince them you've changed. You only need to disappear and let mystery do the work. If you're ready to become unforgettable by becoming unknown, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My mystery is my power. Number 9. Silence creates scarcity and value. While you were always there, they felt no urgency to value you. Your presence was constant, so they assumed it was endless. But the moment you go silent, something shifts. Your absence creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. This is human nature. The mind craves what it can no longer reach. What was once taken for granted becomes rare, and what becomes rare becomes priceless. The same presence they ignored suddenly becomes the only thing they can't stop thinking about. Seneca said, "What is rarely seen is valued more." The Stoic man understands this. He doesn't make himself common, he makes himself earned. And silence is how you reclaim that rarity. Because when they no longer have access to you, their mind begins to chase what their pride once dismissed. Dark psychology calls this the scarcity principle. When the supply disappears, demand explodes. Your absence makes their imagination inflate your value, painting you as larger, stronger, and more important than ever. You don't need to make them want you. You only need to vanish and let silence make you priceless. If you're ready to stop giving yourself away for free, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, "My silence makes me rare." Number 10, silence is the final word. They wanted a speech. They wanted a reason. They wanted your goodbye, because that would have comforted them. But you gave them nothing, and nothing is louder than closure. Silence is the full stop they can't erase. It carries no emotion, no weakness, no openings for them to crawl back through. It is not revenge, it is resolution, not for them, for you. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." They wanted drama, you gave stillness. They wanted reaction, you gave detachment. They wanted one last piece of you to hold on to, and you gave them emptiness. That emptiness will echo longer than your words ever could. Dark psychology calls this the finality effect. The human mind can't accept what it can't undo. Your silence becomes permanent in their memory, an unspoken verdict carved in stone. You are gone, and nothing will change that. Closure ends their guilt. Silence makes it eternal. If you're ready to let your silence be the ending they never saw coming, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is the last word. In the end, you didn't need to explain. You didn't need to defend yourself. You didn't need closure. You only needed silence. Because while closure would have comforted them, silence confronted them. While closure would have set them free, silence left them chained to their own thoughts. Think about what you've done here. You walked away from the trap of closure. You shifted the power by refusing to speak. You let their minds spiral through the unfinished story. You denied them comfort and forced them to face their actions. You protected your energy, destroyed their control, and while they searched for answers, you evolved. Your silence became mystery, your absence became rare, and your quiet became the final word they can never erase. This is the dark Stoic way. You don't seek resolution from those who broke you. You leave them to drown in their own echoes, while you rise in your peace. Because silence doesn't just end the story, it haunts it. If you're ready to stop explaining and start ascending, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is my power. Thanks for watching, Stoic Soldier.